Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk Title with Emerald Coast Title Services. I'm president of ECTS and host Dion Moniz.
And I'm Ashley Bowen, a licensed title agent, the director of operations here at Emerald Coast Title Services, and an instructor for Florida Realtors.
All right, so today we're going to talk about what the heck a title company does. We haven't really done that yet.
It's a good question.
Yeah. So what the heck does a title company do, Ashley?
So we take the contract from contract to the closing table. Once the contract is fully executed, a copy of that comes to us. We then order title, and we do a title search that goes back typically 30 years, but sometimes all the way back to the original grant from the United States government. We see the entire history of the property. We contact the buyers and the sellers. We get all of their information. We get information from the lender. We get more information about the property, like the homeowners association, the survey, that title search. Once we order it through our underwriter, once we get it back, it tells us if there are any errors in the documents in the chain of title, and we then have to correct those errors. Sometimes you may have someone who passed away in the chain of title and their estate was never properly probated, and we may have to get a probate attorney involved. There might be a divorce. We recently had one. These people divorced like 25 years ago, but there was never anything of public record that stated that the terms of the divorce decree were followed properly, and so you had to type up an affidavit, and we had to get the parties to sign it, if you don't recall.
I remember that one.
So anything that happened in the chain of title, we then have to correct it if there are problems with it. If there are any mortgages that are open on the property, we'll see that. A lot of times we'll see HELOCs, like home equity lines of credit, that were opened up. I have one that was opened up 40 years ago that was never properly closed out. That we have to deal with, and it's 2 banks ago. So this First Federal Bank of Pensacola got purchased by AmSouth, who got purchased by Regions 40 something years ago, and we're having to get that closed out. So we do have a lot of fixing things that we get to do in our business.
Fixers.
Yep, we are the fixers. Our job is to convey clear title at closing. So any current loans that are on the property, we get payoffs for those. Any lines of credits. If the seller has any judgments against them or like federal tax liens, we have to get payoffs of those things. Like I said before, we reach out to the homeowners association. We order an estoppel, which is like a statement of the account. It tells us if the property is in compliance with the rules and regulations of the homeowners association. Have they paid all of their dues? Are there any special assessments that are due and unpaid? And what are the monthly or quarterly or yearly assessments, so that we can then prorate that on the closing statement. We get the tax records. We make sure that all of the property taxes have been paid, and we prorate the current year's taxes on our settlement statement. And then we deal with the money as well. So we, all the money comes in to us, all the buyer's money and the buyer's lender's money. We get all of the buyer's lender's fees, and we include those in our settlement statement, and we balance the numbers with the buyer's lender. And then once we're at a balance, once we have all of the money, then we disperse all the funds out. So we pay all of the like repair invoices, inspection invoices, compensation to the realtors, recording fees and taxes to the state. The sellers pay off any judgments, and then all of the leftover goes to the seller, and then we fund the seller. So we really take it from contract to the closing table.
Yep. And after all that's done and it's closed, at some point we issue a title policy. And what is that for? What is title insurance?
So we have 2 types of policies that we issue. two main types of policies that we issue, an owner's title insurance policy and a lender's title insurance policy. The owner's title policy states that we have conveyed clear title. You are the legal owner of this property without any exceptions for relatives or lenders or any liens. Like, we're ensuring that everything has been cleared off, and it is a one-time fee that you pay at closing, and it is, the title policy is good for as long as you or your heirs own the property. The title insurance policy hopefully will include matters that are found on a survey. So we've seen the survey, our underwriter's seen the survey, and we're saying that your house is within the boundaries of this property, and nobody else owns your property. So 5 years down the road, if you have a neighbor that says your pool is right in my property, then you should be able to file a title insurance claim, and we'll take all of the information that we have from our survey and our title policy, and then our underwriter will go to battle for you. They will fight the neighbor for you. If there was something wrong, if we were wrong in our title search or on the survey, and your pool actually is in your neighbor's yard, then your title insurance policy will pay to make corrections.
Yep.
They would probably dig up that pool, fill it in with sand, and put a new pool over on your actual property that you own. And if there is a relative that says, oh, my grandmother was senile whenever she sold that house, when she signed that deed, that was supposed to come to me in this will, then again, you would make a title insurance claim, and we would fight for your rights to the property. Our underwriters would go to court and go to battle for you. We actually had a claim. We have not had very many claims, but we had one during COVID. We ordered a payoff from the seller's lender, and we got our payoff. We closed according to that payoff statement. We wired the money to the payoff lender. We wired all the difference to the seller. And then about 5 months later, that payoff lender called us and said, there was a glitch in our system, and they actually owed $67,000 in interest that we didn't tell you guys about. And so we're not going to satisfy the loan. And so we told Mr. Buyer, go make a claim on your policy. And so he was able to make a claim, and then our underwriters, attorneys, called that payoff lender attorneys and came up with a settlement. They released our property from that claim, and so our buyer was made whole, and then told the payoff lender to deal with the seller all on their own, but keep our property out of it because you guys messed up.
Yep, exactly. Liens that don't get picked up on the search, those are covered under a title policy. A big thing we see is vacant land where there's a fraudulent deed or something along those lines, and someone comes knocking on the door saying, hey, that's my house, not yours, after it's been built. So yeah, anything really that comes after the fact that impacts the chain of title that we insured, that's covered under the insurance
But
policy.
we cover anything that happened before your deed was
Correct.
filed.
Yes.
So anything that's happened after, so if a fraudulent person goes and tries to sell your property after you own it and you have this title insurance policy, we won't cover that.
Right.
And that is an issue. We see that a lot on unencumbered properties where people pretend to be the owner of a property and then try to sell it out from under them. But the clerk of court in the county where your property is located has a protect my property icon on the website where you can click on that, and then you can register your property so that you're notified if anything ever gets recorded on the property, and that way you know immediately about it. And the fraudsters love unencumbered property, so we can even put a lien on the property by way of maybe a mortgage between spouses or something, just to encumber the property to deter fraudsters from wanting to steal it out from under you.
Right.
And then that's the owner's title insurance policy. The lender's title insurance policy does basically the same thing, but it protects the lender's interest in the property. So when a new loan is issued, we issue a lender's title insurance policy that states you're in first position, and there's no one else before you. It's a clear title. These are the actual owners of the property. And then if you ever refinance and you get a new loan, you likely have to get a new lender's title insurance policy because the policy only goes to each mortgage. But we can issue that policy at a credited amount.
Reduced rate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that explains title insurance. Now, you mentioned the survey a little bit earlier. When exactly do you need a survey for purposes of closing and title insurance?
Well, I think that you should always have a survey so that you know what your property boundaries are and so that you get that survey exception on your title policy. But when you are financing a property, you must always have a survey. The lender is going to require this certain endorsement on the lender's title insurance policy, which requires a survey. A condominium has a survey that has already been recorded in public record in the declaration of condominium, so we don't have to order a new survey for that. But any other residential or commercial property, whether it be a townhouse or a single-family home, that's going to require a survey. We can a lot of times use an existing survey. We just need to get our hands on it, as long as there have been no changes to the property since the survey was done, and as long as the surveyor is still in business. So if there were a problem with the survey, we could then go sue their errors and omissions insurance.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So surveyor is still in business, and there have been no material changes to the land, then we should be able to use an old existing survey.
Yeah, and the owner will have to sign an affidavit saying they've made no improvements
Right.
since the prior survey.
And that's all part of our title insurance
Yeah.
paperwork. We require that affidavit. And if we cannot find an old survey, and we do search for it, we will call old other title companies to ask if they have it. And of course we ask the seller, but they always say that they don't have it. And if we cannot find one, then we are happy to order one for you. But we'll get the buyers a written authorization to do so because it's a pretty expensive fee.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anything else you want to add on what it is we do as ECTS?
Well, we always answer our phone. We always respond to emails, and we always do so with a smile.
That's right. That's right.
I feel like we do a lot. It's not probably a great idea to purchase real estate without going through a title company, because you definitely want someone to do all of that research for you, making sure that you are getting clear title, a good reputable title company to handle all of the money that's being transferred at closing.
So I have a question then, because it reminds me of, for some reason, Louisianians don't like title insurance. They'd say, well, I'll just get a title search. But what's the problem with just getting a title search and relying on that versus actually paying the extra money and having a title policy?
Well, because if there's if there's a problem with the title search, then you're kind of
Yeah, the search is only as
at
good
a
as
loss.
the person that's performing the search.
Right, and it's just as valuable as the paper that it's written on.
Yep.
Because if there's a problem with it, then you don't have any recourse. As with a title insurance policy, you do have recourse. We will protect your interest up to the dollar amount of that insurance policy, which is the purchase price of the home.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen title searches where something is listed wrongly or not listed at all. And so that's why you can't, I mean, the person performing the search it's a person. Mm-hmm. People make mistakes. And so we always strongly encourage people not to rely on a title search, to go ahead and pay for the title insurance and get that protection and peace of mind.
That's right. And even my underwriter, there's a person performing the search. Recently, we had a legal description that was missing some calls in it. And we closed, and then after the fact, we found out that there was an error in this legal description. Well, because of that title insurance, like, we're going to pay to fix our mistakes. Like, that was an error that we made.
We being the underwriter.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they will pay for the documents to get prepared, a notary to go to the seller and sign them, or the previous seller, and to record all of that. And
they'll hire lawyers to litigate it if needed.
If needed.
Yeah.
Right, up to that title insurance amount.
Yes, exactly.
So I think it's definitely worth it.
Oh, 100%. It always surprises me when people don't want, I mean, you have insurance or everything else.
And this
you
is
don't
a
wanna-
one-time fee.
Right.
That's good for as long as you or your heirs own the property. So like if you and Mindy have a title insurance policy and something happens to you, Mindy can use that policy and get attorneys to help her fix a claim that's on the property. Or if you're both gone, then your children can use that title insurance policy because it's as long as you or your heirs own the property.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and for the most part, the home or this expensive piece of property that you're buying, it could be your largest investment or one of your largest investments.
Usually it is.
So why wouldn't you want to protect it with title insurance?
I don't know.
All right. Anything else? I think we covered that pretty well. Okay.
Yeah.
So that will hopefully give you some light or guidance on what we do as a title company. As always, if you have any questions or have other issues or topics you'd like us to discuss, please reach out. Otherwise, you can check us out at ects.com, and we hope you'll follow us on all of our social media channels. And for now, we'll go ahead and say goodbye. Bye-bye.